My name is Kaitlyn Yott. I am from Vancouver and I'm playing the role of Elizabeth.
My name's Kim Harvey. I come from the Chilcotin, Okanagan, Kootenai, and Carrier Nations. I currently reside in the East Vancouver Res, and I'm playing Joanna. When you get a group of Indigenous storytellers together, I think there's no better group of people to have a good time and laugh. And there are moments in the play that happen, but in particular, we really lean on each other in the rehearsal and joke and poke fun at each other and have a good time, because it's also really rare to work on a show with so many Indigenous performers from across the country. So it's so exciting and I think just really unique.
It was immediate family, I think. It's just like you get
Sister,
together.
brother, cousin.
Exactly.
Corey has really been able to create an environment where that is not sequestered and oppressed, but Urban Inc. and the whole company of Children of God knows the way that we work. And we absolutely feel like family. I absolutely feel like there is absolutely no way I could do the show without the people in there, in that room. It's definitely something that I've never seen or been a part of before.
It's so necessary and so needed, because I grew up, so my biological grandmother is Haida and my mother was adopted, so I wasn't raised in the culture. So I felt like my identity didn't really belong to me and I didn't really feel a part of it. I think that these stories are so important, not only for myself to find my own identity, but to find the Canadian identity and to just abolish that divide between all of us.
I always find it inspiring working with young actors and to hear how it lands, and I see the process of what it means to do Indigenous storytelling and how we can in our own reclamation of identity and our own personal reconciliation, exactly what Kaitlyn is saying, how important that is for the audience to see. It's so important for the audience to see young women, young men, Indigenous people who are self-identifying, holding space on stage in the community, talking about a topic that's so important.
I consider myself very lucky to be a part of this, because through it, as you said, I've been able to just figure out who I am and where I came from and my connection to my own elders and my family that I don't necessarily have the knowledge or the research about, but my heart knows where I've come from, and my heart understands this story and it understands why it's so important to share this message to people.
There's a deep sense of responsibility as an Indigenous storyteller to participate in narratives that help evolve us and move us forward, where I think every community member feels heard and respected. And that was a big part of my decision to do this show. The room is filled with our ancestors, and we call upon them to be with us, and we honor them in the story that we tell. And I remember on the opening day when we're talking about why we come to these stories, it's obviously for the community members who are here now, who need to see these stories, these young actresses and community members who need to see people like Kaitlyn and Cheyenne, but it's also for those hundreds of thousands of children who, like Julia, are buried on the side of the road in markless graves and are never going to be able to come see this show. So that's why I'm here. This show is for Indigenous people who are looking for reconciliation, who are looking for acknowledgement, who are looking to see what Kaitlyn said, to bear witness to themselves on stage, who were never acknowledged that the atrocities that happen on them would ever be seen in a contemporary setting. This is for those Indigenous people. But I think it's so much more about our settler allies coming to see this show, that for us to actually acknowledge the continued oppression, the continued genocide that is happening with our foster care systems, with the Ministry of Children and Family and Welfare, with the inherent racism, ingrained and systemic racism across this country that is happening today, they need to see this show, because they need to see where it started from, what one of the first impacts and the echo effects that are still occurring. We are intergenerational survivors. It is still happening. So for our white settler, Shema, Napiquan friends, come and bear witness, because this is your active participation in true, meaningful reconciliation.
Bye.